right, we're testing, testing, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. Yeah, I could live with this, I think. Now, so how do I now? There it is. This should be it. Yep. Now we just take this and plug it into here. Save. Save. Does this work? Yep. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. That's good. I don't really need output though. Check, 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 check. Yeah, okay. Check, 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 check. Testing. Check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. 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 Check, check. 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 Check, 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 check. Check. Okay. Check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. 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 Okay. Okay. Check. Check, 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 check. close. Noise level. Much better. There we go. Well, I think that there may be some more people coming, so I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes. It says, what, 11:58 and 14 seconds, according to the Apple clock, so we will start at about 2 minutes after. There's a slight delay, so your time may be different from mine. But I need to probably mute that. Mute it until I need it. Let's see. There we go. That should do it, right? Well, what's wrong with this? Why is that not working? Let's turn that off. There we go. There we go. And you've got picture-in-picture, right? Yeah, that's what's supposed to be happening. Much better. All right. Well, I'm going to give it about 1 more minute. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box. I can answer questions until we start. Orange Bowl, Breakfast of Champions. Okay. Maybe if I make this bigger, I can see what you guys are seeing here. All right. Not bad. Oh, hi, Carol. Hold on. Let's say hi, Carol, in the chat box. Hi, Carol. Glad you made it. All right, now that you're here, I suspect we should start the show because it's after 12. In fact, it's 12:01. I'm going to give them about maybe 30 more seconds. But if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box there. And everything looks right on there. I'm guessing it looks right for you. I'm not hearing any complaints. So, what the heck? All right, let's start the show. So, during the show, I can't see the chat log too well because my screen is covered up with all the slideshow and TV stuff. So, periodically, I will stop and ask you to type something in the chat box, and then we'll go on with the presentation. And the next break, I'll address whatever you've typed. So, you know, I want to hear back from you, and I want to tailor this to you and your needs, but I can't really do it in the middle of the presentation. So when you type things, because I'm the only one here, I'm a solopreneur, I will look at this screen over here. This is my chatting screen, but I can't type on it while I'm running the slideshow. All right, well, you don't care about that. Let's get going. Here we go. And here we go. Working Smarter for Mac Users Workshop. Hello there. My name is Bob Dr. Mac LeVitus. I'm the author of 84 books, I think, is at last count, and I think I just counted 2,500 and some odd columns, articles, probably a lot more than that, and lots of other stuff over the last 20 or 30 years. I've been a freelancer since 1980-something, and I found out, well, I'll tell you more about it in a while, but here's the big thing. Working Smarter for Mac Users was designed to show Mac users, all right, how they can, and this is Mac users of any skill level. You don't have to be a good Mac user or a power Mac user to benefit from Working Smarter. In fact, a lot of my students and a lot of my readers are what I'd call Mac power users, and they still get a lot out of it. We'll talk about that later. But I teach Mac users of all skill levels how to do more work in less time so they have more time for the things they love. Now, here's my promise to you. In this 1-hour workshop, I will show you 3 simple Working Smarter techniques, 3 easy to implement things that I guarantee will save you at least 15 minutes every day. I think probably these are good for an hour a day, but we'll see. All right, so, but remember, these things, when you learn them, will gain you that time every workday for the rest of your life. So Working Smarter is a real departure for me. I've written a lot of books, but most of them have dummies or stupid in the title, and somebody else was the publisher. This is really different. I'm the only employee. I'm the writer, I'm the producer, I'm the publisher, I'm the sales guy, I'm the marketing guy, and I like that because then it's all on me. If something isn't good, you'll tell me, and it's up to me to fix it. When something goes wrong with a published book, I have to live with it for 6 months or a year if I ever get a chance to update, which doesn't usually happen. So I'm so happy that now I'm in charge and updates happen when necessary rather than when inventory runs low. And it's just, for me, it's a lot of work, but it is certainly a pleasure not having to tell my readers, well, I'm sorry that's, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. Also, I hate my publishers' websites. They're terrible, and people complain to me about it. All right, anyway, moving right along. Is Working Smarter for me? Well, I want to go back a second, because I want to tell you before we go on, I guarantee I can help you finish almost anything you do on your Mac better, faster, and more elegantly than you do today, and I can save you countless wasted hours. All right, now, if you're asking, is Working Smarter for me? I think it's for anybody that sits in front of a Mac to get their work done. If you use a Mac for productivity, if you use a Mac to do your thing for work and or play, if you're more efficient, manage your time and activities better, and you procrastinate less, you're going to do more work in less time, guaranteed. If you make your living sitting in front of a Mac, I guarantee 100% you're going to benefit from this and do more work in less time, or your money back. Now, there are 3 parts of Working Smarter, and I believe that you have to address all 3 if you want to be a raging thunder lizard. So, in the course, I go over all 3. There's 3 parts to the course, and quite naturally, they match up to the 3 legs on my stool here. And what I like to say is, if you improve in any one area, you're going to do well. But if you take away one, the whole is what I'm trying to say is the whole is bigger than the sum of the parts. If you take away one of those and don't work on it, you've got a pile of firewood. You really don't have a stool anymore. You don't have anything. But if you address all 3 of these things and improve yourself a bit in each of them, you will be amazed at the results. So here's the thing. I went for probably 10 years. I never missed a deadline. And after 10 years as a freelancer, I was working 18, 20-hour days and not making progress. I was always just a hair away from missing a deadline. Everything was done at the last minute. And it was ugly. I wasn't very likable. I wasn't very friendly. And I didn't have time to do things I liked, like play my guitar or take dogs for walks. I was a hermit, and I thought I was being productive working 18-hour days, but I was spending a lot of time in rabbit holes. Then, maybe 20 years ago, I found out I have ADHD. I mean, on top of everything else, that was the corker for me. But it really clarified a lot of things for me, why I had so much trouble getting my work done, and what I was doing when I should have been doing work. And once I started to get a handle on it, I became obsessed with how to do better. You know, it's like I have this ADD or ADHD, whatever you want to call it, and it's not going away. So how can I structure my work day so that I get everything done and leave the office check, check, check. Oh, there we go. Aha. Well, I know we lost our sound, so hang on a second. Yeah. All right, hang on. I'm working on it. Check, 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 check. I think we've got sound now. Let's see. If I unmute this one and press play. All right, hang on. Okay, I think we got sound now. Type in there into the chat box when you hear me, and then we'll get going again, and I'll maybe go back a couple of steps. We'll go back to is working smarter for me, maybe. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Let's go from here. Is working smarter for me? Yes. Working smarter is for Mac users of every skill level. Anybody that wants to be more efficient, manage their time and activities better, and procrastinate less is going to benefit from working smarter. If you make a living sitting in front of a Mac, no matter what you do, I guarantee 100% you're going to benefit from working smarter, and you're going to learn to do more work in less time and have more time for the things you love. There are 3 parts of working smarter. I like to say you can improve in any of the 3 and get somewhat more effective and efficient. But if you want to become a raging thunder lizard of productivity like me, you're going to have to work on all 3 of these areas. And not surprisingly, the course is divided into 3 parts, and those are the 3 parts. Efficiency, management of time, which is not really, that's a misnomer. There's no such thing as time management. You can't manage time. Time passes at 1,440 minutes a day, no matter what you do. You can plan what you're going to do with your time, and that's what we talk about. Also, procrastination, which is basically doing something other than what you should be doing at the moment to get your job done. The result is you're going to be a raging thunder lizard of productivity. You're going to work fewer hours, and you're going to finish your work in less time than ever. When I was first starting out, I never missed a deadline, but I struggled like crazy. After about 10 years as a writer, I had sold about a dozen books, and I was working 18-hour days and not getting ahead. Everything was finished at the last minute. And then, about 20 years ago, I found out I have ADHD on top of everything else. And that actually was a good thing, because I then began searching for solutions to become more productive, because I realized that I was wasting a lot of perfectly good work time doing things that weren't getting me weren't moving me towards my goal. And so in the beginning I'd work till midnight, 1 o'clock. These days it's more like, I'm out of the office by 4 or 5 o'clock. Even today, I'd say launching this course, I've worked until 7 o'clock a couple nights, and it drove me crazy that I wasn't organized enough to finish everything by 5, because I could have. But things happen, and I'm flexible, and really I do twice as much or 3 times as much work in those 7 or 8 hours as I used to in 18. So here's one of these times where we're going to stop, or I'm going to stop for a moment and ask you to type stuff into the box, but because there's a delay, I'm going to get back to your comments after we go through a few more slides. But what I want to know is, what's your biggest frustration? When you're at your Mac, what causes you the most grief? Is it not knowing how to do something fast, or is it running off to dive down a rabbit hole like cat videos, or in my case, looking on Amazon.com for things that I can't afford or don't need, but I just like to shop. I also like to look at guitars I can't afford. So those are my rabbit holes. But what are yours? What's your frustrations? What when you're in front of your Mac, what do you think is holding you back from really getting more done? Okay? And there's one more thing before. Well, you can go ahead and type those in, but I want you to know that if you leave early, you're going to miss a bunch of funny jokes, bad puns, and wordplay. And the best deal I'm offering anyone but my former students. The best offer I'm going to make in public on the online course and ebook. So this workshop is going to be available for replay, but the replay won't have the offer, and the offer expires on Monday, so even if you watched it in a week, it wouldn't work. But just pay attention at the end and you'll know what I'm talking about. And now I want to go on to working smarter techniques, and I'm going to show you, I think, 3. Staying focused from distractions. We will talk about that shortly, Carol. Okay, so first up, this is working smarter technique number 1, snippets and why they rock. So this is one of my rock solid tips that everybody that uses them agrees they save you a boatload of time. What is a snippet? A snippet is having your computer type long phrases or even whole documents when you just type a short abbreviation. So for example, and you're going to see an example later, but if I type BLC, my email address instantly appears on wherever I type that when I press the space bar. It's magical. Snippets are great. They're easier, they're faster, they're more accurate than typing it yourself. And if you type something more than a few times a day, things like your email address, your home or work address, your signature block, or anything else that you type repetitively day in and day out, your Mac can type it faster, easier, and more accurately than you can. So snippets save you tons of time and effort. As time goes on, you notice that you've typed that the title of my last book. I typed that 13 times today. Well, then it's time to make it a snippet, and every time I type it, it takes 1 second. Way faster than I type, and I type 60 words a minute. And it also helps prevent embarrassing typos. If you use snippets for things like addresses and phone numbers or email addresses, you'll never get them wrong. You'll never accidentally twist your fingers. And for me, numbers are probably my slowest thing. I have to kind of slow down to type numbers. So snippets really help me not ever mistype my my URLs or my email addresses or anything that's got my phone number. It's all snippetized. And snippets really work on the efficiency side. You're typing anyway, so they're going to make your typing that much faster. Even if you're a great typist, they will save you a ton of time. So here's the thing. There's two ways you can do snippets. One way is free, and it comes with Mac OS 10, and that's the way I'm going to show you. And the second way is when you get the hang of it and you know how useful this could be, you're going to want to buy a commercial product called Text Expander, and if not that, there's another one called Type It For Me, and there's one called Typinator, and we can talk about upgrading your snippetizing later. But for now, let me show you the free way that's built in. You can try it, check it out, and if you find that it's as cool as I say, talk to me and we'll figure out what's the best next step for you. Now, here's how you make them in Mac OS 10 for free. First, you'll launch System Preferences. Click on the Keyboard tab. Then click the Text tab up at the top, and click the little plus down at the bottom. Then type your snippet on the left, BW in this case, and on the right type what you want that snippet to expand into, which is in this case Bob at WorkingSmarterForMacUsers.com. And so once you've typed those two things, you can close up the System Preference pane, and then whenever, oh wait, type the snippet. That's the snippet, BW, and the expansion. I'm still getting the hang of this slideshow. I like it though. So there they are, and now what happens when you're done with that is this. I type my snippet, BW, and as soon as I press spacebar, it's replaced with all of those letters. That's a lot of letters to type, and it's way faster for me to type 3 letters than to type all of those. And as I said, I never spell it wrong. I never accidentally put 2 G's in, or whatever. If you're not paying attention, it's easy to make a small typo in a email address or URL, which pretty much renders them useless. So you don't want to do that, and snippets are one way not to. So check this out. I use Text Expander, as I said. This is a 4-month graph, September to January, September of last year till January this year, 4 or 5 months, let's say. And in that time, I saved 217,000 typed characters, or 12.08 hours at 60 words per minute. So across 4 months, that's 3 hours a month that I grabbed back for myself to do something else just by implementing this one little tip. So, I mean, there's clear evidence. 12 hours, 12.08 hours. It's amazing. So, which way do you want to do it? You want to, type all those things and get your fingers twisted up into knots and or do you want to just have your computer do the hard work and type it for you? All right? So now that you've seen it, what do you think? Which way are you going to do it? From here on out, are you going to do it the easy way or the hard way? So now I'm going to ask you to type stuff into the chat again, and I will stop and address it at the next after the next slides. Now, Carol said not planning efficiently. That's really funny, Carol. You must have ESP and know what's coming next, because a goal without a plan is just a wish. If you take the time to plan, you will get more work done. I only spend about 5-10 minutes every morning laying out my day and planning, but that absolutely saves me hours during the day, because I know what needs to be done and I know how long I think it's going to take to finish that task, and because of that I get so much more done. I used to do a to-do list, and when it got to about, I think, 15 pages, I realized it was futile. I would cherry pick the thing that was the easiest or the least odious or the most fun and do it, and then cross it off and thump my chest like, oh boy, I just did some work. But it was never the right work. It was never the work that got me to my deadline or got me a paycheck or got me anything. I would just do stuff, and because I didn't have a plan, if I knocked off a couple things from the list, I felt like I accomplished something. But really, if you're not working towards the things that are significant and important and meaningful to you. Carol, you asked if Text Expander is not in the App Store. You need to go to Smile smilesoftware.com, I believe. I'll check it when we get to the Q&A, but because of the way it works, because it's intercepting your typing, it can't be sold in the App Store. Or if they sold it in the App Store, it wouldn't work as well as it does. So we'll talk about that at the end during Q&A. But I promised to get you out of here in an hour, so I'm going to go forward. But here's the thing. If you identify the most important tasks for the day, and I always take 3. I try to hit 3 things that really shouldn't be pushed to tomorrow that need to be done today. It's crucial to know what has to be done today and what doesn't, because then you get what needs to be done first, and then you can get on to the rest of the stuff. And if you stick to your plan, you should get a lot done during the day. You should get all your most important stuff done. You should get all your email done. You should be able to achieve inbox. Well, there's a lot of things you'll do during the day, but if you plan for them and you block out time, this is the important part. Block out chunks of time. So I have on my schedule, I do it by the hour. So if I've got 2 things I can do in an hour, I will put 2 things in the hour, but I work in 25-minute chunks, and the 25-minute chunks we'll talk about. It's the Pomodoro deal. But when I have a plan and I have time blocks and I know what I'm doing at each hour and what's next and what has to be done today, and when I have most important tasks outlined, I finish more work in less time. Because I have a plan, because I'm not just flailing about trying to do stuff because I'm at my computer. I know exactly what I need to do, and I know approximately how long it's going to take me to finish it. So having a plan is what lets me finish by supper time instead of by midnight. And honestly, before I really started doing this, I was pretty efficient, but I wasn't I wasn't a raging thunder lizard of productivity. Now I really feel like I do more work between, say, 7 and 4, 7 and 5 than most people do in 16-hour days. A plan helps you manage your activities, because I told you can't manage time, but you can manage your activities in time. And this next slide really warms the cockles of my heart. I don't know if you know who this guy is, Guy Kawasaki, but he's kind of my idol. He was the first Mac evangelist and one of the first people I knew at Apple, and he's written 11 books. He's very much about evangelizing and doing relationship-based marketing, which is, I follow a lot of his philosophies in my day-to-day marketing things. So I asked him if he would read my book, and he said those nice things there. And if you notice up at the top, it was on Valentine's Day. That was my Valentine's Day from Guy Kawasaki. So anyway, but I digress. So here's the thing. You can download my free productivity planning worksheet if you haven't already downloaded it. I offer it a lot of different places in my emails. I offer it occasionally on... Oh, well, if you're in my Facebook group, it's a pin to the top of there. But I'll give you the URL at the end of this session. So you can download the free productivity plan. I call it Super Plan. And I stole the logo from, well, I'm hoping DC Comics doesn't see that and come after me, because that is very much like a certain kryptonite allergic superhero. All right, so here's the thing. I don't want you to leave yet, so I'm not going to put up the slide that says where to get the free productivity planning worksheet until the very end. But here's my question. Will you try making a plan? Are you going to try... Actually, I spend 10 minutes in the morning. The first thing I do in the morning is look at yesterday's plan, see what didn't get done, what's in my little liner notes on the side, and then make my plan for today. If it doesn't get done today, again tomorrow. So here's the thing. Are you going to do that? Are you going to try making a plan? Type it in the box, and we'll talk about that after this next set of slides about, do you do the Pomodoro? Now we're going to talk about procrastination. Sorry, I get very dry when I do these webinars. All right, so do you do the Pomodoro? Here's a couple quotes that I like. The hardest part of writing is keeping your ass in the chair, Wallace Stegner. famous American novelist. The secret to writing a screenplay is keeping your ass in the chair, Oliver Stone, Academy Award-winning director. And the secret to getting stuff done is keeping your ass in the chair, and that was me. So here's the thing. The Pomodoro technique really works for me, and the way it works is this. You set a timer for 25 minutes, or 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, whatever works for you, but 25 is the official number. And then you do one thing and one thing only for 25 minutes. In my case, a lot of these are write this, write that, or read this, read that. And they go 25 minutes without an interruption. I turn off my phone, I turn off all of my alerts on all my devices, and I try to get in the zone, because 25 minutes of work in the zone equals an hour of work out of the zone or more. It's like if I'm in the zone and I'm writing, I can really crank out a lot of good copy quickly. If I'm interrupted, it takes me 5 or 10 minutes just to get back to where I was in the flow. So I isolate myself as much as I can. Some people can't. If you work in an office, you maybe put on headphones and listen to white noise or something. Or tell your office mates that the hours from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. are your writing hours, and you know, they can interrupt you any other time, but not then. Anyway, the way it works is this. You set the timer, you do 25 minutes of one thing, and then you take a short break. They suggest 5 minutes. I usually take more because I like to have a longer break, but on my breaks I make phone calls and do things that might have been set into my schedule. So I use an app called ZoneBox, Mac App Store app. It was $4.99 when I bought it, but now I think it's free. So here's the 2 reasons I really like it. Okay, the first is it's got these purple indicators. One of them runs across the whole menu bar, and the other one runs across the ZoneBox window. And as you can see, I'm at about 13 minutes in right now, okay, and this Pomodoro is 25 minutes, so 13 is about halfway, 12 and a half, 12 minutes 30 would be halfway. So by looking at the purple, I can see I'm almost halfway through. There's also 2 other indicators. Here they are. There they are. Where are they? Come on. Why isn't it doing that? Here we go. Those tell me how many minutes in minutes. So I've got 13 minutes down. I've got 12 minutes to go. Or maybe, no, I've got 13 minutes to go. That's a countdown timer. So when it gets to 0, I'm done. I like that. I like to know where I'm at in my 25-minute chunks. All right. Now, so you've seen the purple progress bars. You've seen the numerical things. That's what I like. But you don't need that. You can use a kitchen timer, or you can say, hey, SIRI, set a timer for 25 minutes. She does that just great on your phone or your Mac. So if you do this Pomodoro thing and you really isolate yourself and focus on one thing and one thing only for 25 minutes straight, I guarantee you're going to waste a lot less time. So this is banishing procrastination, because if you're going to do something for 25 minutes and not do anything else, by its nature, you have stopped procrastinating. You're not in a rabbit hole. You're not watching cat videos. You are working. And so that's what's so great about this, because if you work in these 25-minute chunks, it gives you a bunch of time downstream that you can use as you like. You know, this way you get your work done. Then you can decide if you want to spend some time down a rabbit hole. But if you keep doing this all day long and you write them down and you're diligent about it, you will absolutely, it's a game changer. The Pomodoros with time blocking, if you have those 2 things going for you, I promise you're going to get a whole lot more done. And as you perfect it, as you work on it, as you do it over and over, you get better and better at it. And you find little secrets that make it better for you. So well, that brings the educational portion of the workshop to a close, and I'm doing good on time. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to be a raging thunder lizard of productivity? That's how I think of myself, as a raging thunder lizard of productivity. It's like I talk to a lot of my friends that are freelancers or self-employed, and they're always working. They wake up in the morning and they work until way after dinner. It's like there's always something they need to go back and work on. And mostly leave the office for dinner and don't come back in. And I don't take my work into the bedroom with me. I don't take my iPad or laptop in the bedroom and do work in there late at night. No, I do stuff I like. I watch TV. I hang out with my wife. I take my dog for walks. We go out to eat. Those are things I didn't have time for before. And I never heard of anybody getting to their deathbed and saying, I wish I had worked harder in my life. It just seems so obvious to me that you want to, be good at what you do, but do it as efficiently as possible so that you have time for things you like to do. So here's my, I think, last question. Why are you here today? Are you as efficient as you'd like to be when you use your Mac? Would you like to spend less time working and more time doing things you love? Are you bitten by procrastination? Would you love to banish it forever? And the big question, of course, don't you want to be a raging thunder lizard of productivity? Now, by now you're probably wondering, what can I do to get such results? Well, there's two options. You can do it the old slow way, frustrating, lack of results, working too hard, not enough time for things you love, all that awful feeling of being overwhelmed by your work all the time. Or you can do it the fast way, by working smarter. So let me introduce you to the fast way. Here it is. This is my new course, Working Smarter for Mac Users. It's an online course. It's also an ebook. In both, I show Mac users how to do more work in less time so they have more time for things they love. We address all three of the legs. We're efficiency, time management, activity management within time, procrastination. We do it all, and then we put it all together to turn you into an uber productive thunder lizard. So who's it for? I said this before. I've designed this for Mac users of any skill level. There's nothing really technical about it. And I've written for dummies books for years. I've written like 3 dozen. And I know how to write clearly and concisely and avoid jargon and, present these things which aren't very technical to start with, but present them in a manner that almost anybody could absorb and implement. And I'm there to help. I'll talk about it in a minute, but if for some reason something befuddles you, I'm as close as a click. So if you think you could be doing more work in less time, I'm positive you could. Now let me show you how I can help. The online course has 73 short lessons. They're all under 10, most of them are under 10 minutes. There's a few that run slightly over. Most of them are around 5 or less. They're broken into the 3 parts that should by now sound familiar to you. There they are again. 3 parts, 73 lessons, 10 minutes and under, most under 5. There they are. Part 1, 26 lessons. Part 2, 22 lessons. Part 3, 23 lessons. And I wrote, produced, and edited every lesson myself. This is not something that you're gonna get a bunch of people other than me teaching you. I am. It's my voice for 10 hours. It's my face for 10 hours. I hope you like it. But in a little over 9.5, I think, hours for all of the programming, you will learn every trick I know that works for becoming more efficient on your Mac, managing your activities in time, and avoiding procrastination. Every lesson is optimized for delivery on any device. You can watch it on your desktop, tablet, or mobile device. Looks great on all of them. I've actually taken a bunch of classes that are hosted by the same company that hosts mine, and it's a pretty pleasant experience to view any of the lessons on any of the devices. I actually watch a lot of these on my iPad because then I don't have to be at my desk. I could be anywhere. And a lot of these things I like to just sit somewhere where I have a pad and paper and take notes. Don't need a computer for that. All right. The other thing is, not only can you watch the lessons anywhere, and they're available to you in perpetuity, or until, let's just say, until death do us part or something, because once I stop paying the bill, you probably can't access the lessons anymore. But I'm in good health. My doctor just told me I have the heart of a 61-year-old man, which is good because I'm 61. No, I'm 62. All right, anyway, I'm always available to answer your questions. Not just a minion. There are no minion. I am a solopreneur. I do it all myself. There's really no there's no guy to answer the questions for you. If you have a question and you post it in the class chat room, I'll be there that day to answer it, usually within an hour or two. I get an email as soon as you post something. So I don't have any minions. I'm a solopreneur. I'm the only one here. You're always interacting with me, at least for the time being, and I like it that way. Now, the course normally costs $4.99. It actually, the 2 payments thing I took away because it seemed silly. It was $1 less to pay it in 2 payments, and nobody took advantage of it. So to make things simple, the course is $4.99. Workshop attendees, 60% off. So you get it for $1.99. And if you were one of my students in any of my other classes, you would have received an email for an even better deal than that. I'm looking at you, Carol. But don't delay that. This one-time offer for people who weren't already my students expires at midnight on Sunday, March 11th. One-time offer. So here's my pitch to you. If you spend too much time chasing rabbits down rabbit holes, if you procrastinate when you should be working, and here's my favorite part. These are some examples of rabbit holes. Yeah, rabbit hole, a rabbit hole, a rabbit hole. Oh, this is my wife's worst rabbit hole. I can't believe, but she visits it religiously. She thinks it's the most hysterical thing. Anyway, now here's another rabbit hole, and here's another rabbit. Oh, no, 30-day money-back guarantee. That's not a rabbit hole. More work in less time every day, I guarantee it. I stand behind the course 100%, and I offer a money-back guarantee, 30 days, no questions asked. Imagine finishing all your work an hour earlier than you do today, every day for the rest of your life. I'm not kidding. That's what you get. You can go sit in the hot tub while it's still light outside. You can wear kooky glasses and hats and have your picture taken while the sun is still up. It feels good to finish all your work before dinner. And every day I celebrate how happy it makes me to not have to work till 11 or 12 o'clock to get the same or less work probably done. And I have to say, these days my work, the quality of what I do is much higher because I'm focused, because I work on it and nothing else. I don't get interrupted. You've got nothing to lose, so much to gain. Now here's what happens when you enroll. You'll get a welcome email almost immediately with login instructions. Then you can dive right in. I recommend you start with the introduction and prelude. They're both over 10 minutes, but they set the stage for everything else, and you'll understand me and why I'm doing things the way I do a lot better if you take the time to watch those. But they are not essential to the course. If you're in a hurry, dive right into lesson 1. The whole course is available at once. I don't a lot of course providers drip the content, make you watch lesson 1 before you can watch lesson 2. I don't believe in that. If you start to watch a lesson and say, I already know this, or I'm not interested in that, skip to the next lesson. You know, you could binge watch. You can watch it all in a row. You could probably watch the whole thing in one day if you wanted, or one lesson a day for 73 days. Whatever suits you, but I recommend that you finish it as quickly as you can, because the sooner you can begin putting the full array of these techniques to work for you, the sooner you'll get all the benefits. You also receive a weekly reminder from the school if you have unwatched lessons, and you can turn those off if you don't like them. So, Carol, Robert, anybody else out there? How you doing? Would you like to save 60%? Is that something that sounds like you'd like to do that? Enroll today. Use the coupon code SAVE60. Save 60%. Do more work in less time. If you're having trouble getting your stuff done, if it takes longer than you think, if you thought your computer made things easier but it's not, these are the things that I can fix. All right? And so I'm going to pop out of the slideshow here for a moment. and I'm going to paste this URL into the chat because, here we go. There's the URL to go sign up in the chat. And all right, I've still got a couple more slides, but I'm going to do them like this without going back into the full slideshow mode. I think this will work. So here we go. We're at the Q&A portion. Let's see what we got here. When does it start? It starts whenever you walk in. It's open now, and I've got dozens of students already in school, so it's ready when you are. Just sign up and jump in. You can actually go sign up and not pay and take some of the sample lessons. There's, I think, 5 or 6 lessons that are free trials if you want to try it before you do it, but don't delay because the 60% offer expires soon. Do we have any other questions? Tips. You get tips everywhere. Robert wants to get better at scheduling time for specific tasks. Oh, okay, well, I've got something for you in about 2 more slides. You got nothing to lose and countless hours to gain. If you're still on the fence, please tell me why in the chat box, and I'll do what I can to assuage your fears. Remember, this offer ends Sunday at midnight. Start working smarter today. Let me help you become a raging thunder lizard of productivity. There is one more thing. Here's where you will download that free planning worksheet that I talked about so many times. I'm going to paste that into the chat box for you. All right, Robert has the book. And that's actually a really good question because the course is based on the book. And if you've read the book and you've done everything in there and you don't want to see it done on screen, or you don't want to have the opportunity to ask questions and have them answered there in the course, if you've done everything in the book, I don't know that there's that many new things in the course. They're all demonstrated. You know, it's a very visual thing rather than reading. A lot of people prefer it. I have a couple people that have done both, and everybody prefers the course. But the course is it's more of a commitment, both financially and time-wise. But I think for a lot of people, you'll get more out of it by seeing it rather than reading it. But if you've done everything in the book and you're still not productive, maybe we should have a consulting call. Let's look at your workflow and your work day and figure out where your bottlenecks are. Because if you've done what's in the book, you should be already 20%, 30% more efficient. You should be getting out of the office at a reasonable hour. I have one more thing I want to do before I come back to Q&A in a second. And that is, I've got these lovely closing credits for you. Here we go. And there's some music to them. So at a reasonable hour. I have one more thing I want to do before I come back to Q&A in a second. And that is, I've got these lovely closing credits for you. And there's some music to them. No humans or animals were harmed during filming, and that is the end, at least for now. Okay, let's get out of my show here. And I will pop myself up to full screen here, so there you go. Get rid of that, and that should be full screen again. Yeah, there we go. Is that right? You see me? Yeah. Okay. So, Carol, I don't even remember who got the hair and makeup credit, but it was probably my dog, my wife, or me. I have a huge staff. They're all me except for the ones that are my family or my dog. My dog is in there a couple times. Mostly me. And a cast of thousands. And this is actually my office. I mean, a lot of people think that I built a set so that I could, broadcast from a place that looked office-y. But no, this is actually where I work. Why would I bother doing it? You serious? Are you? I think it's Are you serious? Yeah, the hair and makeup credit. Are you serious? That's not a real person, because nobody, as you might have noticed, nobody's doing my hair or my makeup. So, any more questions? Oh, my dog is barking. What do we got? UPS? FedEx? Something? Nope. Just somebody walking a dog down the street. Well, that's all I got. I got you out of here by 10:02. I promised. You know, a lot of these things drag on for an hour and a half, and they do all this selling at the end. And I figure either you're interested or you're not. Either you're going to enroll or you're not. And I'd love for you to, but I don't hard sell. That's not my style. My whole thing is relationship marketing. I want people to I want people who want to be engaged with me because I happen to know a bunch of cool stuff, and I don't know. I'm not marketing. I like making ads, but I don't like selling. So that's all the selling. You have the URL there if you want to go. And thank you, Carol. When you enroll, leave your questions in the lesson chat. That way I can answer them, and if anybody else has a question, they can see it and benefit from it. So I'm hoping over time we'll build up a nice bank of questions in the lessons. You guys are among the first students, so it's going to take a while. If you've got questions, I'd appreciate it if you put them up there, and I will answer them as quickly as I can. All right. Any more questions before I press the button that ends the broadcast? I think Orange Bull should pay a promotional fee. Oh yeah, no promotional fees were paid. And I don't get a commission on any of the products I recommend. I kind of have a policy. I don't even use sponsored links at Amazon. I don't. I might have a couple, but I don't really. If I recommend something in the newsletter, I don't put a sponsored link so that I get a nickel if you buy it through the link. Almost everything I recommend, I have no financial interest in. 100% of my Mac stuff. And also, I pay for a lot of stuff, like the mail stuff I use, hosting software for all of this stuff. All right. No more questions. Thank you for coming, Robert, Carol, everybody else out there. I'll be back next week. If you've already been, you don't have to come back because I don't think I'm going to change the slide deck much this week. I like the way it went. So, if that's all, no more questions. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you in class. All right. Bob, Dr. Mac LeVitus, over and out.